all up.
Well, hello, my name's Doon, and this is my review of Dead or Alive 5 on Xbox 360. It has to be said, this is probably my favourite beat-em-up game of last year. Certainly better than Tekken Tag Tournament 2, which I initially liked but was a bit disappointed, and I may review after this actually. Tekken fans don't go apeshit though, that's just my opinion. So this is the second Dead or Alive game on Xbox 360, and it really is a great leap forward. In terms of gameplay, they've added quite a lot, which I'll get into in a minute, but I just want to talk about the graphics. The character models are amazing, and much better than in Dead or Alive 4. To highlight it, I've included this footage here. It's the character select screen from Dead or Alive 4. What a difference a few years make. Saying that though, the one thing I do miss from Dead or Alive 4 is Nicole. Classic guest character. Anyway, back to Dead or Alive 5. So there are two new characters to the roster in this game. There is Miller, who is an MMA fighter, and Rig, who does a bit of Taekwondo. Rig plays and feels very much like Hwang from the Tekken series, obviously because of the Taekwondo, but it's really nice, yeah, the kicks are really fun and you can change legs, stances, just like what Hwang could. Miller's, again, a really good addition actually. Visually she fits in with the other girls, and our moves are all based around like grapples and MMA-esque type moves, with a little bit of kickboxing as well thrown in. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the new characters. Something else new to this game is a fully realised story mode this time around, where normally you just had an arcade like 1 to 8 type fight going on. So the story mode acts as a bit of a tutorial, I guess, where in each mission there's a bonus objective where you have to throw someone or do an attack whilst doing a strafe. So that's a quite neat idea. Each of the missions, as you see on the screen here, are linked by little cinematics, which are quite well done actually, and I did chuckle at a few of them. And to be fair, the story that Team Ninja have gone with here is actually alright as far as the ordinary beat-em-up game storyline goes.
I'm sorry.
They've made some tweaks to the gameplay as well. The same stuff's back as always. You counter, you throw, and there are two attack buttons, kick and punch. Very simplified compared to other games like Street Fighter and Tekken. But this time round you also have the addition of power blows, which is sort of a big attack that you can use should your character become damaged enough. Obviously it's nothing new to the world of beat 'em ups, any Capcom fan will be familiar with that sort of mechanic, but it's nice to see Dead or Alive's move repertoire building. Now before I mention something negative, I do want to stress this is probably my favourite beat 'em up game of last year. However, I do feel like some of the stages were a bit lackluster. Like maybe it's not as good as Dead or Alive 4. I mean, anyone playing this game, I challenge you to go back to Dead or Alive 4 and just quickly have a play through some of the levels, and you'll find that the levels in Dead or Alive 4 are a lot more colourful, quite a lot more dynamic, and simply put, more interesting to look at. That being said, it doesn't really hurt the game, to be honest. The levels are interesting enough. I guess I've just come to expect a little bit more from Team Ninja in that department. I really like the sound design in this game as well. All the crashes and the bangs are really arcadey, and all the shouting going on, the music, it all really works really well. You can also select, for the English and American audiences, you can select two different audio channels, English and Japanese, which is really cool for anyone that wants that authentic Japanese experience. What I really love about the Dead or Alive franchise is the fact that it's more accessible, I suppose, in a way than a lot of beat-em-ups out there. You can really just load the game up and start enjoying it straight away without learning huge lists of moves. And as cliche as it sounds, it is an easy game to pick up and play, but hard to master, so they always say. Now obviously I can't talk about Dead or Alive and not mention bouncing breasts, which is something that pretty much made this franchise famous. I remember back in 1996, it was like literally the only thing I read about in the games magazines. It just talked about how you could turn on and off a feature that made the women's breasts bounce. All very juvenile, I know, but hey, guess who the target audience of this game is? But when I read initial previews for this game, I had read some comments that said that they were toning down the sexualization of women in this game. So I'm just going to come straight out and call bullshit on that, to be fair. Yes, the women in this game are totally over the top, but hey, the men get topless too, so, you know, fair dues. I will say though, there were times in the game when I did feel a little bit pervy. And with the inclusion of the usual settings that most Dead or Alive fans will know, if you press A, X or Y on the character select screen while playing a female character, you can change the fighter's underwear. Anyway, on a related note, something else that's new in this game, clothing and skin get dirty and wet, so kind of pervy as well I suppose, but to be fair, it's a really neat addition. Characters sweat after a grueling match, and if you get flung around in the dirt you do get, you know, all mucked up. Now, I talked about new characters earlier, and someone who's in this video here is Sarah Bryant, who's actually from the Virtua Fighter series, and she's joined by two of her fellow fighters from Virtua Fighter, Pei and Akira. It's really cool to see these characters here. I really love the Virtua Fighter franchise, and no doubt so did Team Ninja, and that's why they appear here. Additionally though, Dead or Alive 1, the first game in '96, it actually ran on the Virtua Fighter engine, so it's maybe another reason why these fighters were thrown in here. Now, the director of Dead or Alive, he's actually hinted at there being possibly some DLC characters in the near future, maybe some more Virtua Fighter characters, so that would be cool. I really like crossover games, you know, like Tekken v Street Fighter and Marvel vs Capcom. Something that's really exciting that I did see is that the director also hinted that he would really love to get Ryu from the Shenmue games in as a downloadable character, and that would be really sweet, especially if they included Landy, who's the villain of the franchise. If they do that, safe to say I'll probably have an orgasm. While I'm on the subject of downloadable content, there is something I did kind of want to bitch about a little bit, is the fact that a lot of the extra costumes are downloadable and you have to pay for them. Now they've split them all up into different characters, but you can also just buy them in packs, and they've released, as I'm talking, they've released one free pack and then 6 additional packs that you have to pay for, and the packs are ranging around 1,000 Microsoft points per pack. That puts it at about £8 to £9 per pack, so do the math, it's quite a lot of money that. Now the thing that bothers me about this is the fact that once upon a time these costumes would have just come on the disc, they would have been a part of the game. It's not unusual for Dead or Alive characters to have, you know, 8 or 9 different costumes in the past, but now all of a sudden characters only have 4 or 5 costumes, and in order to get them all you have to fork out, you know, 3 to 4 times the amount that you actually paid for the game itself. Ridiculous. I mean, come on Microsoft, sort it out. Really, they need to bring it in line with iTunes, and downloads should be 69 pence, £2.99 on the odd occasion. Certainly shouldn't be £8 to £9 per pack. It's the same with Street Fighter vs Tekken, exact same thing, ridiculous costs, and I thought that was just a Capcom thing, but apparently not. And it does spoil the game to a little bit, it sours the experience a little bit, shall I say. But beyond that, ultimately what you're left with is a great beat 'em up game. I really loved it, I had a great time playing it, and I'm still playing it now. There's loads to do, loads to unlock. The training mode alone will keep you busy for ages, getting all those titles. If you love beat 'em up games, or simply put, perving on girls, then why haven't you bought this game yet? My name's Doon, hope you've enjoyed this review.
Nice fight, hun.